Hello and welcome to episode 129 of Flowing Through Film. I am your host Blake, and this week we are continuing my Buster Keaton series with two of his 1925 features, Seven Chances and Go West. Two honestly very different movies also. Go West especially is a very different movie for Buster Keaton, but we will get to Go West eventually. First we're going to start with Seven Chances, and have either of you guys... Well, I guess let me introduce my co-host before we actually get on. Yeah, Luke.
Hi.
And Danny.
Hello.
And had you guys seen Seven Chances before this week?
No, I haven't seen either of these.
You hadn't seen either of these, Danny? You hadn't seen either? Okay.
Yeah.
So I had seen Seven Chances before, and before we even do any opinions or anything, I always forget the opening of this movie is colorized. Because I did the same thing you guys both did,
Yeah,
where you were switching videos and shit. I did that this time too.
Why are these all colored?
Yes, dude.
I thought it was like some copyright thing or something. I was so confused.
I was so confused this time again. I was like, oh wait. After switching it one time and seeing it again, I was like, oh wait, I did this last time too, where I was just like, it's colorized at the very beginning. Yeah, they shot that opening in Technicolor. So.
Oh, why?
Yeah, I don't know.
Technicolor.
They just wanted to.
Yeah, that's so weird.
But 1925, I guess.
Yeah.
Did they? No.
What kind of Technicolor?
Technicolor came out in 1916.
Oh, really? Damn.
It did. But yeah, so this was actually in color at the very beginning. But I just had to get that out at the beginning because we were talking about that kind of beforehand. But actually getting into Seven Chances and your guys' opinions on it, what did you think, Danny? I'm really interested to hear what you think because this one I already said I don't think you like it. It's not my favorite Buster Keaton movie, obviously.
I mean,
either,
I still enjoyed it. It had a good ending with the chase and stuff, but I don't know. It was. I didn't like the story. I guess the story was just kind of so for me, really. But I don't know. It's more like a movie where we'll talk about specifics I liked, but overall, I guess the vibe it gives me is I just didn't. It was a fun Keaton movie, but nothing special. Especially with the Go West. Go West felt like it feels like it tugs at the emotions a lot more than this one does.
Oh,
really.
it does, yeah.
This one kind of just feels like more slapstick, if anything. Even the whole main bit of all the women chasing after him and stuff. It's funny at first, but it goes on forever.
It does go on for a long time.
And it kind of reminded me of the my least favorite part of the doll, where he's getting chased around by the forever. That chase goes on for so long in the doll, and he's getting chased around by this. It's the same kind of gag too with all the women who want to marry him.
I love both those scenes.
I mean, there's actually some good parts in this one.
Oh, there are amazing parts.
But still,
yes.
yeah. I'm just saying story wise, it's more the slapstick Keaton than the kind of I don't know, more just film overall. Keaton,
I mean,
I guess the way I would say it is.
It makes sense because Keaton didn't write this one. None of his writers did. This was a play, and he did this movie as a favor to Joseph Skank because he was in debt. But he did because he was in debt. But he also Joseph Skank asked him hey, will you direct this? I want it to be a Buster Keaton movie, and Buster was like, yeah, I owed him a favor anyway. So Keaton also did not like this movie. It's one of his least favorite that he made, but...
What about you, Luke?
I actually really liked it.
Really?
No, it's definitely charming still.
I mean, there's some shots
I guess
that are honestly interesting to me. We're going to talk about specifically that I'm damn, okay. But other than that,
honestly, for you said you didn't really like the story. To me, I really it's just a very simple concept of okay, he needs to be married literally in today, and so it's literally just
But once I know that he's going to be married. This is what I'm not. I know I say this point a lot, but it takes attention away from me a little bit. You know, that's why I love watching Chaplin to a certain degree because I'm I actually don't know if Chaplin's gonna win in this. You know, and usually he's gonna lose.
I just like the scenarios around it too.
That's what I'm saying. There are some good parts in this, and him and at the end of the day, the rock avalanche thing is crazy. There's still some crazy stunts. There's still some shots. Yeah, there's some shots I want to talk about too that are really creative, but. I don't know. Okay, it kind of makes sense.
I think it's kind of sentimental too. I would say the ending especially. I feel I think you're not giving enough credit to the ending.
Really, I mean, it would have been more sentimental if they just get married anyway without the money.
Yeah,
but then they're
I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's. I don't know. Maybe
that part was sentimental. I was oh damn! She's I don't care about the money.
You're saying it didn't really tug at the heartstrings.
Actually no, you get the money.
Yeah.
It does. It has it both ways. The part I hate about a lot of endings for movies. But.
Yeah, which I guess we do kind of disagree on, but
Tries to have a cake and eat it too.
Not like it's the.
But yeah,
Do
you like Go West better or this one?
We'll need to talk about Go West first. I'd say
that's fair. That's why, like with Keaton, it's hard. Like once you get into the specifics, actually, like once we get to the ending, I'm usually like, oh, I like that more than maybe I get.
Yeah. A lot of times, like there's a lot of gags you might miss.
Yeah, we might miss without when we go to the details. I'm like, yeah. But still, that's the vibe it gives me. Versus,
I like probably both.
Like especially after Sherlock Jr., I'm like, damn, this is the perfect movie.
Yeah,
and then coming to this,
it's hard to follow.
Yeah.
I like.
It's like it's just this again.
I think I like both of these around the same, probably.
Interesting.
Dude, the cow
Interesting.
Alone.
Yes.
The cow alone.
Like,
oh my gosh. Of course.
Why are you looking at me?
I'm just. Oh, I'm gonna bring it up on the episode because
no.
I don't want to bring it up too.
I know what you're gonna bring up.
Okay, we'll save this then. I don't think you know.
Okay.
Now I'm curious, but okay. Well.
No, yeah, we'll stay with some chances though. Yeah.
Because to me, Go West is way better than this.
Yes.
But,
100%.
Yeah, it's like damn. I'm surprised you even said that. But.
Really? I'm kind of surprised too because I Go West.
Like,
is
dude, Brown Eyes alone. It's like
no, he's great. I love
she, right?
Yeah.
I love the cow.
Like, what character in Seven Chances is even close to Brown Eyes?
Well, they're different.
That's what I'm like saying. Like the characterization, just like everything feels more real in the Go West, but Seven Chances. Okay, we'll talk. I don't want to hate on this because that's what we're talking
Danny's
about.
Danny's out here hating so much on it. Like,
no, it's still like a good movie.
It's a very charming
solid
movie.
He hates it.
We'll see the rankings, I guess, at the end of the series.
No, yeah, Seven Chances. Like I said, it's not my favorite either. Yeah, it's not my favorite either. I just don't particularly find at least the first half of it that funny. I'm not gonna lie. The second half, once we get to the chase, I actually find it more enjoyable. I do still think there are a lot of enjoyable moments throughout the movie, and Danny already mentioned there's a lot of interesting things Buster is doing in this movie also, but it's a farce at the end of the day. It is a farcical comedy at the end of the day. Yeah. Which Buster, he does dabble in it, but it's never what I consider his best. And I never really like it whenever Buster is like kind of doing someone else's story, because those are usually his worst movies as well.
That was one of my least favorite parts where he's like, I'm just not going to I don't care about the money, like I already let down the woman, and then he's like, we need this for the law firm. And he's like, all right, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's like how the movie takes place.
He quickly convinces
him.
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know. It just takes away from Keaton, like you're saying, almost. It's like not his story in a way. He's doing it for someone else. But
yeah, but there are still a lot of interesting things that happen in this movie that I still love, and we'll definitely get to them. And it's gonna open with some interesting shit, like we already kind of talked about with the Technicolor. Like, gets me every time, like I said before, but it's just a really interesting decision to do that because. I don't know. I honestly don't know the reasoning behind it. I don't know if there is a reasoning why they decided to use Technicolor for this opening, but it gives the opening setting up this love story a little bit more oomph, kind of. Just having like actual colors kind of flurrying around behind them and stuff, kind of like setting up this love. But it opens with like, it's just the seasons changing, like just same backdrop, always in front of the house. The only things changing are the seasons and the dog, which is really fun. It opens with the one beautiful summer day when fragrant flowers bloom. Jimmy Shannon met Mary Jones, and he wanted to tell her he loved her. And then we see like the opening shot. Obviously, it's summertime. It's in color. There's a little baby Dalmatian and everything, and they're just talking, and it's just a very like sweet little scene. And then it just keeps on going, like with it's the same setup, same scene, everything. Where it's just like when Om had cast its golden glow and the flowers had faded and died, he still wanted to tell her he loved her, and it's just like building on this, like he still wants to tell her he loves her no matter how much the seasons change, essentially, because winter comes as well. But then he tries to throw in like however when nature had changed again, bringing forth springtime with its beautiful buds and blossoms, it like gets a little cut, and then it's he still wanted to tell her he loved her. I don't know, it's just like a little joke, but. Then it actually gets to the real movie after setting up this love that we know from the very beginning essentially is gonna work out. but it's Jimmy.
Damn, he admitted it.
I mean most Buster Keaton movies end out okay at the end. Most of them, not all of them.
All of them have basically so far. I feel like.
I think all of them have, but a lot of his shorts don't.
Yeah. Once there's like a romantic interest.
Once there's a romantic interest, he usually ends up with them, yes.
Which is fine.
It's fine.
I didn't say anything.
That could be a good thing. Oh, you're so like.
No, I'm just saying Blake said that because like it is setting that up. Like, it's more setting up. This is what's going to keep Keaton interested in the movie, more than just getting money for the law firm, I guess.
This is his real goal.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's her, not money. But yeah, we're introduced to Jimmy and his partner Meekin, which I'm just gonna call him Meek from now on out because like my autocorrect kept on autocorrecting it to Meek, so I was just like, fuck it, I'll just stick with it. But they're financial brokers. They're in charge of like this financial firm, and they made a bad deal and now owe a lot of money to someone. Like the opening of this kind of just goes really fast as we're introduced to these people because we're introduced to like the three main I guess in the first like 5 minutes we're introduced to basically all the main players. Yeah. Because we're introduced to Mary, Jimmy, we're introduced to Meek, and then we're introduced to the lawyer right after this.
Is the lawyer the guy that's like holding up the thing?
Yes, sir.
This guy.
Yes, sir. This guy's amazing. I love. He's got a great face, and there's some great gags that go along with this guy too. But yeah, the first gag obviously with him is like he's just trying to tell Buster some good news that his uncle or something has left him, or his grandfather, I can't remember, his uncle or grandfather has left him money.
Charlie Chaplin ass like bowler hat is so funny too. I don't know why.
Well, he's got kind of a Chaplin face too. There's a shot in this that you could easily see the tramp being in there.
If it's the shot when
they're proposing,
like Keaton's proposing.
No, it's the shot whenever the other guy's proposing for Keaton.
Okay, yeah, that's the shot I thought you were talking about. And then Keaton's like running away. He's gone off, and so he's just standing there. Yeah.
And
he like the way he smiles.
Yes,
Okay, yeah, that's exactly the shot I was thinking of. that's a funny scene in the movie, honestly.
Oh, it's so funny, dude. It's a great scene. But I mean, this opening scene with the lawyer is also kind of funny, just because Keaton and Meek think that's a lawyer there to serve them summons to come pay this like debt that they're owed. So they're just trying to run away from him, and he keeps on following them all the way, country club and shit. And then he holds up the will. He gets by the cops and everything. Holds up the will to the window, and I just love it because they're both talking to each other, just like how are we gonna like get money to like basically help our situation, and then they just slowly realize that there's this paper saying he's left.
And like the amount is like he doesn't even show the
it doesn't show it. That's for the gag.
and then like he gets taken away from the cops after that, and then they have to like chase after him. It's funny.
Yes, it is funny because they told the cops like not to let him in, and then whenever they go back and like start treating him all nice, the cop just looks at him like, "What the hell, man?" Like,
yeah.
But after obviously they kind of save him from the cop, they go in and it's time to actually have the will read. So the lawyer's trying to like tell Buster how much he's gonna make, and he keeps on dropping his glasses. Kind of a funny gag. I don't know. It's just a quick one, but it's a little funny. But he basically tells him that he's left $7 million on the condition that he is married on his 27th birthday by 7:00 p.m.
This is literally the doll too, something like that, where he has to get married to get the money.
It is.
Damn, I didn't even think about that. Wait,
was the doll based on a play too though?
I don't know. I think it was.
Oh, the doll definitely did have the element of like her being a doll.
That's true.
So I guess that's like
no. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's way more interesting as a movie. I didn't even love that movie, but I liked it. But it's more interesting as a movie than this one, for sure. This one's more straightforward.
This one has Buster Keaton though, so
that's true. I can't argue that.
So like, it has that going for it.
That's true.
And this guy, the fucking lawyer guy.
Honestly, Mika's is pretty funny too.
And honestly, we're actually here. Like this shot, this is one of my favorite shots in the movie. And honestly, any of the Keaton movies, is like after he finds out he has to get the $7 million to get married. He's like, okay, of course he has to go find Mary.
Yeah.
But then when he goes outside to the car,
yes.
When he gets in the car, it changes the background.
Just dissolves.
Oh, yeah. It is no. It only changes. He just stays in the car exactly the same. It only changes the background to his.
It's just
to her house.
Very simple passage of time.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's perfect, dude. I'm like, damn, every movie should do this. Like, if you have budget problems, just do this shit. Like,
honestly,
it's like so creative.
Oh yeah.
Buster has these time dissolves like a lot, like or just like just the background dissolving or something happening with like food or something being eaten to just show the passage of time.
Yeah.
So.
Damn, yeah. But it's like, yeah, but then that's how because he does it on the way back too once he leaves her house too.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to the bar
He's all sad.
or this restaurant. yeah. But yeah, we're still at the first part where he goes to her house.
No, yeah.
But I just love that shot.
No, it's a great shot. It's one of the great. Like I didn't love this movie the first time I watched it, But the second time watching it, I respect it more at the very least, because Buster's still trying a lot of interesting things in this movie at the end of the day. He really is. It just doesn't come together for me completely. I do like before he actually goes, though, the dissolve, he's like, maybe Mary might want to marry me, but and then he just walks off. But
I love how, like, yeah, this is truly an insane, like, concept. Really having to, like, because I think something I thought about, too, this morning when I was, like, thinking about this movie is, like, was divorce illegal at the time?
I don't think so.
It's not illegal, but it's way harder to get divorced.
Because, like, I was thinking, like, if it's, like...
It actually might be illegal.
That's what I was thinking.
I know a lot, because I know a lot of the times, like, one of the reasons, especially with, like, Haxon, like, the witch, that talked about men just putting their women, in, like, their wives in mental asylums because they were done with them. They wanted to, like, move on. So, they definitely might have been illegal. Or just, like, really, really hard to get divorced.
Yeah. I don't know.
But why were you thinking about that?
Well, I was thinking because that would make the concept even more insane.
The second chances.
Yeah, if you have... He's trying to get someone married where, like, divorce isn't easy. Like, you can't just, like, get married for the money and then get divorced.
But they want to be married to him, though. For the money.
Yes.
No, but, like, Keaton, it's always this element of, like, okay, but, like...
I don't think he ever says the divorce part.
Well, I'm saying, like, that just makes it, like, even more binding, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah, he can't just, like...
So it's, like, even more insane that it actually is, like, literally just meeting someone and immediately getting married is, like, crazy. A crazy concept. And, like, he does show really, like, a good job of, like, how absurd it is.
Oh, he does. Because there's a couple, like, especially, like, as we get on some really surreal proposals he gets to, but... I mean, the first proposal works, though, because the first proposal is to marry.
Okay, and the scene is hilarious.
It's so good.
The way Buster Keaton is, like, really, like, playing the act. Oh, dude, it's so funny.
It's, like, his pantomime skills are really good. Like, he's obviously more known for just the movement of his body and his stunts, but his pantomime skills are actually, like, just really, really great as well.
The fact that he's looking away from her the whole time, too, was so funny.
I just love that she comes and just, like, sits down next to him, and you just see him, like, he's just putting his hands over his heart and just, like, extending them, going, like, I love you, Mary. You're the only woman I want.
He's like, not looking away from her.
Yes, it's so good.
Like, what are you doing?
But then he's basically just like, will you marry me? And she's like, yes. And he's like, what? You will? And then he says, I must hurry back to the country club and tell Billy it's all fixed and we'll be married today. This starts the, like, greatest misunderstanding of this fucking movie. And he's just putting his foot in his mouth this entire time because she asks, why today? And he said, my grandfather left me a lot of money providing I married some girl today.
He could have done a better job.
Oh, he just
this. Like,
puts his foot in his mouth every time he opens because, like, he realizes after he says it that he said something wrong. And so he's like, he follows it even worse. Even worse. I don't mean some girl. I can marry any girl. I mean, it don't matter who I marry, but I must want someone.
Right, come on.
Oh, it's just like...
He's fumbling so hard right here.
He fumbled the bag big time, dude. But yeah, so, like, he was... After this, she obviously declines and walks back in the house, and he just kind of walks away all dejected back to the car, and we get the dissolve back to the country club. And after that little dissolve back to the country club, we have, like, alternating scenes of basically Mary's mom telling her that she needs to call him because it might have just been a misunderstanding. Yeah. And so she calls him. We get, like, this phone gag of the phone not going off whenever Buster is, like, in telling them the news that she's not going to marry him. But this leads to her overhearing he really does love her, obviously, because he's telling him, like, I don't even want the money now. It's going to cost me the only girl I ever loved, essentially. And after hearing this, she obviously writes down on a note, like, don't you marry any other woman. I'll be home all day. Basically telling him to come back and I'll marry you. And this leads kind of to, like, Seven Chances also has just a lot of unfortunate racial jokes and just racial shit in it, because, like, the servant in this, or the butler, I guess, is he's in blackface. Like, it's pretty obvious. I mean, it's kind of well hid because you could, like, look at a glance and go, like, oh, that guy, that's a black, yeah, he's a black guy. But then you actually look closer and you're like, no, that's a white guy.
There's one worse moment later on.
Whenever he's actually acting like it.
No, when he's, like, looking for women.
Oh no, that one's bad.
Yeah,
no,
this one I didn't even notice the butler one. That one was, like, really bad. But
No, yeah. Well, the butler one's bad just because like whenever she goes and like hands him the note, she's like ride for your life. And it's, like,
yes,
with
like, the horse. Yeah, he's like really dumb too.
Yeah, it's just it's really bad.
Yeah, you can't read
really
the sign
bad.
and stuff.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, the won't stop and go. It's definitely very bad. Like there are some moments in this that are definitely very bad for that, and that's also another reason we're not going to do college. I'll keep on bringing that up because college has a way worse one. But so yeah, like all this is set into place, but with the butler riding off to find Buster. But back at Buster at the country club with Buster and Meek. He basically he gets convinced very easily. Like, we need the money, so we need you to try to find another woman. And so they come up with a plan.
They have a whole roster.
They have a whole roster of 7 women. You have 7 chances, Buster. They're still at the country club. Like, they're at this like.
I just wanted to point out when they enter the country club. This is another one. It's kind of weird because I just watched. Well, I told you I watched Voyage in Italy.
Yeah.
And there's a shot where when she enters the not Voyage in Italy, I did watch that, but I meant Europe 51 when she enters the insane asylum, and like there's like a almost like slow pan where it goes like across the room of all the faces, and I'm like, damn, because I there's a similar shot in this when you just see the 7. It's only 7 faces in this one, but it's almost like a. It's like a slow, long shot.
It's a slow pan. It's a slow pan.
Instead of like normal just cuts to each face or whatever. It's like a slow pan. It's like, damn, I've actually seen like Rossellini do this. And then because when I was watching the Rossellini one, I was like, damn, Fellini actually does this too in some of his. So,
yeah.
He like enters the room, the camera just like slowly glides across all the faces in the room as they're looking at the person like looking, you know? It's like, damn, Keaton was doing this in 25.
He was. And so there is this underlying theme in this movie, which Buster would obviously not say it's like something he was going for, but every woman that he's going after at this beginning, like in the beginning of this movie, is a woman of like high class in air quotes, like of the time, especially of like high class. Like the man kind of has the power technically to like they're the ones that approach and like make proposals, but the women have the power once that's like made in the situation. Like they have no power. They're kept in like these cordoned off places essentially. Like every woman in this of the high class variety until we get like to the later half whenever he's running from them is literally shot in like cordoned off areas. Like they're in their own little section and they can't leave, including Mary. Like Mary never leaves the house in this entire movie. She's always behind the fence. so it's like Buster is, it's like an underlying theme of like this is kind of what society is saying to like women of this class. Like you have to stay in this position, you have some power basically, but your only real role is to like look pretty and you'll get a gentleman to come up to you and like propose, and then you're set essentially. Whereas later on in the movie we'll see women that don't have that option, who obviously read in the paper like an heir to $7 million if he's married at 7 o'clock. We see the type of women that like go to that place and they kind of like break the mold and literally lead a revolt against the system essentially in the second half of the movie. So it's kind of interesting in that way, like how he frames the women in these opening shots, especially of his proposals and stuff like that, because he is doing it with forethought of like what he's doing, like because like especially the slow panning take whenever he walks in, because like Buster walks in, it's like he's looking at like a zoo almost, or like he's walking into a zoo.
Yeah.
But I like that you brought up the pan, because I did have that in my notes, but I kind of skipped over it. So. But yeah, after that slow panning take up, the 7 women that we'll be seeing later get proposed to, all except for one, I'm pretty sure. I think one is actually switched out, and it's the fatter one. But that's I only say that because I've seen this 3 times, so I don't remember him proposing to her. But the first proposal it's so funny, honestly, because it opens great. It's just like Buster just literally sits down and says, "Will you marry me?" It's just like takes his hat off, obviously first, but it's just like cold open, just "Will you marry me?" Just like, and then it's just so awkward because the woman starts just laughing at him so loud that everyone else in the restaurant hears him too, and so he just kind of like has to like slink away like all.
This is another thing like that kind of makes me not like the movie as much as
you're laughing at them.
No, I hate. He's just like overly dumb. I hate when characters like overly stupid, and that's like kind of the just like keeping the movie going, because he could just say, "Hey, if you marry me by 7 o'clock, you can get $7 million." And then we wouldn't get these reactions. That's basically how he gets all the other women later. That could have just started the movie.
But he wants true love.
He's asking this right away.
By asking this right away.
He's also a stockbroker, So he's kind of like.
No, but think about the strategy that works later when they actually get all the women to come to the church. Why would that not work here?
Well, because he's a high class man. That's true. And so he like wants to try the high class woman first.
By asking literally right away your first question, that's high class.
He's a little naive about it. I would say. He's
okay, to be naive, but just tell the truth.
I do think that. Meekins earlier did say that these were women he knew as well. Like they're women that he actually like. Social.
I'm assuming one of them would have at least considered the $7 million proposition. You know,
oh, they would have.
Just, asking, "Would you marry me blind?"
Will you marry me?
He was nervous.
That's what I'm saying. It's more just like when the joke is just the guy being stupid. That's like the whole point of it.
Yeah, you might not like Jerry Lewis after all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Especially, I don't know.
Have you watched The Bubble yet?
No, I haven't watched any.
Need to. So good.
But yeah, this obvious failure at the first proposal leads to Meekins and the lawyer basically like telling Buster this is how you propose, and like they're kind of showing him how like outside like get down and he proposed to the woman like this and everything. Showing him how, and then they send him off after this one.
No, that scene was so funny. Especially the reactions of the lawyer
people,
guy.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Dude, but this second proposal, there was this girl that walked out of the country club and started walking towards the golf course. And so Buster chases after her, gets down on one knee and does this whole thing that they were practicing before, like hand over heart, like he's just like saying, "Will you marry me?" like this, and then like as he's doing this, we have more like observers that aren't really welcome, like more unwelcome, like another unwelcome party viewing this proposal. Right? Yeah, they're just golfers that witness this, and so they like walk over and just start staring at him, and then whenever the woman says no, she starts laughing, and then they start laughing too. So it's more like Buster just runs off all embarrassed again that he did this, but. The third proposal, also really solid and funny. It's just like, you can tell he's starting to get dejected at this point because they walk back in and he literally just writes down a piece of paper, "Will you marry me?" Tosses it over the railing to the girl up there, and the response is she just shreds the paper and throws it back down at him.
I love the way it's rejected too. You don't even get a shot of her. You just get a shot of the papers.
Yeah.
It's just raining down on him. Like that's how you know he got rejected.
It's so good, dude. It's very simple and fun. But the fourth proposal is my favorite, and it's the one where we see Meekins is like, "Okay, you obviously don't have the game to get a woman to marry you, so I'll propose for you. You just stand here." I love this shot because Meekins is framing Buster in the best way he can. He's giving him like his good angle. Like he's like, "You stand here, stand like this. I'll go over here, and I'll tell her like I'm proposing for you." And you just stand here. All you gotta do is stand here and look pretty. Because we get like a shot of them just straight on, like all three of them just standing there, and he's like kind of making him up. Yeah. But this also backfires, obviously. Because Meekins goes over there, he asks her, like, "Have you thought about marriage?" And she's like, all the time, essentially. Like, she's very open to this. She's like very open to like Meekins especially. Like she's like,
well, that's who
really like. She's hoping it's him.
All in.
She's hoping it's him, dude.
She thinks she's talking about. She thinks he's talking about himself.
Yes, she thinks he's about to propose to her.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's like, "Yes, I will definitely marry you." And he's like, and she like starts to get all like huggy and stuff. He's like, "No, I'm not proposing for me. I'm proposing for him." And in the meanwhile, while this has been happening, Buster's kind of just been standing here getting more agitated, basically that he can't get a woman, and so he just walks off. Yeah. And so the lawyer replaces him, staying in the exact same spot. Whenever Meekins points over, the girl just looks, and she sees the lawyer's smiling face. It's actually just like he's just looking at her first. And they like the smile just opens, and then she like slaps Meekins, like, "How dare you?" It's a great joke, honestly, but I also love the fifth and sixth proposals because it's just kind of like super quick reversals that I kind of love Buster for, where it's just like. He, after that rejection, obviously, he just starts walking up the stairs following this one girl that he's proposing to. He proposes to her, she says no, and as she says no, another woman is walking down the stairs, and so he just makes a quick about face, walks down the stairs, asks her to marry him, and then she says no, and so he just walks off. But it's just so quick, like the fifth and sixth ones, that you could literally just miss it if you were looking away. And then the last one, of the actual legit 7 chances, because all this entire time Meekins and the lawyer over there crossing the names out on their roster, that he's been rejected by. But this next one is just him following a girl into a phone booth and getting rejected and saying it was the wrong party. But classic phone gag. But so Meek basically just tells Buster after all this failure, I have a plan. Meet me at the church at 5, I think. Yeah, at 5. And then the lawyer says, bring a woman just in case. And so then we get like just some quick scenes of Buster just failing at essentially proposing to the rest of the women in the country club and the rest of the city he's in. You would assume, because like we have he's proposing like the hat clerk, just like this old woman with a baby. Like he's just proposing to like
he's this
13-year-old girl. Like is a really weird one that happens because she's like dressed up as a lady and he thinks he's finally gotten someone, and he doesn't realize she's 13 until her mom takes her away, and then like. That one leads
Thank God that didn't progress.
Thank God that did not progress, yes. It leads to a hilarious moment, though, because the women... Because that was the last one.
Yes.
That was the last one. Like, he walks out. The women that he all proposed to, like, his 7 chances, were all looking at him, like, laughing as he's walking out. And he, like, basically points to the girl that he's the 13-year-old one and is like, okay, come look. That he doesn't know is 13. And then they start walking off, and the girls are all like, wait, what? Someone actually wants to marry this guy? And then it's the mom, obviously, comes and gets the girl. And then, like, after that happens, Buster just cuts to the women laughing, and one of the women's just like she's rocking a baby, like he's stealing from the cradle. Oh my God.
The Kendrick Lamar to Drake.
Oh my God. You see Kendrick's doing the Super Bowl this year, too.
Damn, I saw that. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Not like us.
Is he good?
We're never gonna live it down. It's gonna be like a huge hit again. He's playing that in the Super Bowl.
Oh, he's going to do it in the Super Bowl, dude. 100%.
That's crazy.
Damn.
Drake has to be furious right now.
Unless he's like gonna try to be like, can I collab? Like, let's collab. Like, please, let me on stage. No. Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know how we got there, but damn, I honestly didn't even know she was 13 in that joke. I don't get why this joke. Like,
well, it's like 13. She's like teenage age.
Oh, do they say that?
No, they don't say it. It's just like she's.
I should have got that because I was like, why is this other woman just coming and dragging me? Yeah. I thought it was like her friend just being like,
no. She's shown as like a teenager,
okay. Makes
or like
sense.
a preteen basically because she's got like a doll and everything.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, like so after this, we start to get. Like, the movie's starting to pick up steam for me, honestly. Like, I do kind of like this. I really like the chase that we get to with the women that we get to. But, I also like this next moment that happens where he's just driving out. He's just driving away from the country club. We're actually seeing him drive this time, so you know there's going to be a gag involved. Yeah. And he's just, like, driving. He rolls up next to this lady on the street, driving the exact same car he's driving. And so he just, like, looks over at her. He tips his hat and is like, will you marry me? And as she's like processing this, Buster just runs into a fucking tree right in the middle of the road.
This stunt is crazy.
Yeah.
It never doesn't make me laugh, dude. I laugh every fucking time.
Like the way that the car's like posted on
it. I know, like when because you saw it from the side angle, it's like a weird.
You see it from the side first, and then it like cuts back obviously to the actual car, and you just see a tree in the middle of the fucking road, and you're like, okay.
Yeah. Like the laws of nature aren't even on his side at this point.
Yeah, no, they are not. No, but. This is intercut with Meek and the lawyer at the printing press, and the lawyer's or Meekin's plan is to just print an ad saying that we have a man here who is set to inherit $7 million if he's married by 7 o'clock, and they run the ad, and I just kind of love it because like Meekin's just like outside the printing press, he's just like looking at the printed paper, and he just like smacks it and goes like, see, this is what we needed to do, but then we get like the last few like. City jokes of like Buster proposing to all these people in the city one last time as he's going to the church, and this is the one where it's like obviously we have the racial joke, which is not a good one. Obviously, there are some good ones in this, obviously, but like that one is just
there's some
bad.
good racial jokes.
No good jokes in this actual section. This fucking guy. There are some good ones.
Not that one.
This is not one of the good ones.
Yeah.
The good ones, hold on.
Those are coming. That's why we're doing college next week.
Oh my God. No, there are some good jokes in this scene. In this sequence, goddamn. No, so that one's the bad one. But the other ones are... There's one where he's like proposing to a mannequin at a barbershop. doesn't realize his mannequin at first, so until like the head kind of falls off, and so he like walks over to the other one, thinks the girl there, and it's honestly like a really good thing.
This is the plot of the doll by Ernest Lubitsch.
Oh, okay. When he thinks it's okay, all right.
When he thinks it's an actual, he thinks it's a real girl, but
no, yeah. Then when he pulls her head,
yeah, she actually pulls her head. And it's like it's a good instance of metamorphosis though, because like whenever you're first looking at her, she kind of looks like a doll or a mannequin, so. But that's a good one. Then the last one is like he proposes to a man impersonating a woman. That's who Julian Eltinge is. Apparently, he was a very famous. I was reading this in my book, but he was apparently very famous. Man that did a woman impersonation back in the 20s. I guess that was a thing.
I'm sure there's some interesting stuff there.
I am sure there is, but
yeah, we never get inside. We just see the outside, and then he comes back out all surprised.
Comes back out with his hat all like a black guy. His hat's just over his head, but yeah. So after all this, we cut to a title card that says, by the time Jimmy had reached the church, he had proposed to everything in skirts, including a Scotchman. And then it just arrives at the church, and I love the church. I love the church, just like how he sets it up, because it's framed beautifully, man. Just
when
him
he walks
walking in,
it's so good. Yeah, damn.
It looks amazing. But yeah, he's just walking in. He just sits down on the pew because he's supposed to be there, obviously. And he lays down, and it's kind of sad because like these are kind of moments where you're kind of feeling sad for Buster, because like he's laying down for rest. And in his sleep, he's proposing and getting rejected. And it's just like, dude, he literally can't even escape like getting rejected in his dreams, man. But this is cut with obviously all the women reading the newspaper ad and like racing to the church. Like they're just
slowly filing in.
And I love like the arrival of the women en masse to the church is just some insane filmmaking. Honestly, there's so many extras, dude. There had to have been at least 1,000 women, like at least 1,000 extras, man. There's a lot.
1,000 might be pushing it.
That might be pushing
it. Is a lot.
There's a lot.
It is a lot.
There is a lot.
Yeah.
But
more than the doll.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
100%. I mean, just the shots of them just trying to cram into the church. That's got to be at least 200 right there. But
honestly, both these movies have similar endings in a way.
Oh yeah, no, they do. Very similar endings.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I probably prefer the doll a little bit, but.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Go West on this.
I was talking about Go West. The ending of Go West.
And Go West and this have very similar endings, yes.
But it's not one. Maybe he's making a joke there. Maybe he's making a misogynist joke there or something. I don't know.
He's not making a misogynist joke.
The doll also has a similar ending too.
He's making a people
with him finally
joke
accepting
there.
the girl.
No, I'm just talking about the whole big. There's like all the cattle are chasing him at the end of that one.
Oh shit!
Throughout the town, and this one's women.
Damn.
It's honestly very similar, like these huge wide shots, like like a crane shot or something from above.
Damn,
a lot of them.
honestly, yeah.
But that one we'll obviously get to the ending of that, because that one's like he's obviously not making the correlation to the women at the end of this one. It's the correlation to the very beginning of the movie and Go West, but yeah, Buster's slowly awakening at the church, and he sees that there's a woman sitting next to him, dressed up as a bride, and he's like, oh, that's weird. And he sees another one sitting right next to him on the other side, and he's like, oh, that's weird. And like, so women of all ages and variety are coming to like marry Buster, essentially. Like, these aren't the quote unquote beautiful women of the first 7 chances he had, essentially. Like, these are the women that they're just trying to get this chance at money, essentially. Or like, and that's kind of why you can read into it, like, these women are like just trying to fight against the system of just trying to take what like just trying to like marry, like they're taking the man's role essentially in this, like, and especially back in the 1920s, like what was assumed as the man's role by going to the man and saying, I want to marry you for this money. And then like whenever we're going to be going through the actual chase through the actual city, they're going to be going through a lot of different manly activities essentially and completely wrecking all of them. So that it's an easy reading. It's an easy reading for this movie that you can have. But I do love that he's just like slowly realizing that they're all there, and it's just like, and then like obviously the brides are slowly realizing that he is the man in the newspaper, and so like they're just kind of like starting to get a little bit more aggressive with him. because they're fighting each other over him and just kind of like being very possessive of him himself until the priest comes out and says, "Ladies, I think someone's played a practical joke on you."
No, the shot of the lawyer in the arms of the one guy.
Oh, it's so good.
That's so funny.
Yeah, because after the priest says all this, the women turn hostile.
Yeah.
they turn hostile on Buster, and Buster has to escape. And so he jumps out the window. The women don't know where he went. This is where he like finds the butler is finally able to give him the note. We finally have that loose and tied up. Like this is what leads him on the way back to Mary's, obviously. Yeah. So, but yeah, we have that awesome shot of all the women running out of the church and just running over the lawyer and Meekins, and they're just like in each other's arms, just like trembling like Scooby Doo, literally. But like after obviously the butler gives Buster the note, Buster is off. He is off to Mary's again, but he doesn't know what time it is. So he's stopping and trying to find the time. First, he stops at like a shoe shine. He has to shoe shine first if he has a watch, and he says no. And then he sees a lady with an ankle watch, which ankle watches I don't understand why that's a thing. I know it's probably just aesthetic, but it makes no fucking sense. Like, why would you have an ankle watch? It leads to a funny joke, though, of her thinking that he's peeping and she kicks him. But and then it leads to an actual great, just, like, time joke and this is, like, kind of just really surreal of Buster, like, just trying to find the correct time. He goes to a clock shop, looks inside, and every clock is completely different. Like, they all have completely different times. And the one man that you'd think would have the right time is not working. His watch is broken, so... But then, as fate has it, some man was apparently on a massive bender the night before because he is still asleep at 6:15 at night, and his alarm clock starts going off, and so he just like kind of throws it, or he like smacks it, but it gets smacked out the window and beans Buster right in the head. So, and he figured out 6:15. So he's got a hustle, honestly. He's only got 45 minutes to get back to the house to marry Mary. So he starts walking. And I love these shots of Buster just like walking because it's like he's leading all of these women, kind of like how we're going to be seeing in Go West. He's literally leading the cows, but like in this one, it's like it is a crane shot. I'm pretty sure of just like him walking. The camera's just like on a dolly back there, like just going backwards, and you're just watching him as the women behind him are slowly building and slowly getting closer because he's not turning around. He hasn't realized they're there. And then they get, like, really close, and then he turns around, and he realizes they're there, and then the chase is on, obviously. So the first gag that we get is they run by a bricklayer. And this is one of the first instances of, obviously, like, women tearing down, like, men's society. Because this man is, like, just doing his job, building like, a brick wall. The women stop at the brick wall and take every single brick that he has that he had been working all day on. And then you have a great shot of the man just like standing there in front of the wall, the women all like collecting around the wall, and then running off, and then just no wall being there, and the man just staying there like, what the hell? Like, but he like I love it because he just throws his hat down and just like walks away. That's exactly how I'd be at a job. But then after this, we obviously have more just of like Buster running away from the girls. We get a great long shot of Buster running, and then he like runs into Meekins and the lawyer real quick, tells him like, I'm going to Mary's, get a minister, I'll meet you there. And then he's off, and we get like this awesome shot of like Buster running away as the lawyer and Meekins get like run over by the women once and then get run over by him again and the next shot. And then we obviously have like the football scene where a football game is obviously going on. Yeah. Buster arrives right as the play is about to start, hurdles over the line, and then all of the women come and knock all of the players out.
Their offensive line was trash, bro.
Their offensive line was ass. No, yeah, but yeah. So it continues on, though, and they just continue. So, like, we have a Turkish bath. They commandeer a train at some point, or a tram at some point to, like, try to capture Buster. I think the best part is probably the cop part because Buster thinks he can hide with the cops during this escape.
Just how long
he gets into line with them.
How long he like takes for him to notice that they're not there anymore.
Oh, I love it so much. I mean, and the thing that makes him realize that they're not there is another cop running by him. Yeah. Because like, it's a great setup joke, but the cop just runs by him, and then Buster like runs. Buster running it's a lot like Tom Cruise. Obviously, like people say, watching Tom Cruise run film is just fun.
Yes.
It's the same with Buster. Like, Buster not realizing that the cops have left until that cop runs past him and then quickly overtaking the cop is just, it's just really funny. But then we have, like, probably the most insane... No, not the most insane stunt in this movie. There's another one that's even more insane. But the train, the crane stunt in this is still insane.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't match the rock avalanche at the end, but this is still an insane stunt where they go into like this mining station. The women take over the entire station, and the
he's
crane.
Up there high too,
dude. It's like. And he's swinging around.
Yeah.
Like it looks fun. I'm not gonna lie.
Is he like strapped in at all or anything? He's just hanging.
It doesn't look like it. They might have had some wires on there. Hopefully, you would hope so. But yeah, it's an insane stunt. But the women think they killed him whenever they dropped him behind a train. But obviously, they quickly get over that whenever they realize he's walking by, and the chase continues. But as all this chasing is happening, we cut back to Mary's house. And just for like a quick second, as like they're waiting, obviously, because this is like it's just a time establishment shot. Because I think we cut to Mary's house just so we can see the church's clock, like the church's clock, so we know what time it is. But after we get that quick cut, we're now at the country portion of this chase because like we're out of the city. Obviously, now we're in the country, and Buster's running through a cornfield. I love this shot because Buster's runs out first, and then the cornfield's just destroyed by all the women running through it. So he runs through a cornfield, runs into barbed wire, straight through it, gets caught. Then he has to deal with bees and a cow as he's running through all this shit. After dealing with all those, finds a boat, starts crossing a river, starts blowing kisses at the women as he's like crossing it, thinking he's won, just to realize like, oh shit, I'm not away because they're just swimming after me. So he has to like
Olympic ass swimmers out here.
They are, dude. But yeah, so there's more of him obviously just like crossing rivers. Like
the way he jumps in that one stream is so funny. He like just dives,
head first and then just starts paddling, even though it's like
really... that can't be deep water.
No, it's ankle deep. He's swimming right off of it.
Diving in like that. That's crazy.
But it's obviously like getting to the most impressive part of this movie, which he quickly like there are moments of this where he's like going there's duck hunters and shit like that, which is kind of crazy. But it starts like he's on a mountainside, and even the opening to this mountainside is insane because it's just like the women are there, they kind of cut him off, and so he has to run over the mountain. The two, yeah. It's insane because he first off jumps onto a tree that's getting cut down by a lumberjack that falls. Then this man just barrel rolls, dives headfirst off a fucking mountain for no goddamn reason. I don't know why. Like, this is insane. Yeah. Like, he's just rolling, man. Like, until he obviously like starts to knock some like boulders loose, and then it just starts.
Are those boulders real?
The boulders are not real. They're paper mache.
Yeah,
okay. But they're still
the big ones.
The big ones still weigh a lot. So the big ones still weigh upwards of 500 pounds.
They are huge. Like it's like because like it's obviously shot from far away, so it can be hard to tell. But like,
there's no way they could have been real boulders.
Yeah, I was like proportional to like Keaton's body, they're like bigger than him. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, he does get hit by one too. So
no,
it's just actually insane. Like,
honestly, it's kind of fun.
You say that until you actually do it, and it's like
with those those like huge like like bouncy balls.
I would tear an ACL, bro.
Well, that part, yeah, him like running down the hill is crazy with them all chasing.
It's an impressive shot, though.
Yeah,
it's so
the way he starts like hiding on a tree too, and then that gets knocked down.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's so funny.
What should be sturdy is not. But yeah, it's just insane. But as he continues, obviously rolling with all these rocks, the brides are down there waiting for him. And nature tells him.
Also, is there a Sisyphus connection you can make in this scene too?
There's a Sisyphus connection you can make to all Buster's movies.
But like, especially this one, like feels maybe a bit like
it's quite literal uphill, like literally.
But it's like more downhill. I guess it's more downhill though. But like, there's obviously I feel like there's some kind of like connection you could make there.
Continuous struggle.
Boulders on a hill. Yeah, but
you might be pushing it.
Like it's kind of
because this one's a little different too. Because also the bolt, he like actually the boulders help him actually accomplish his goal at the end.
They say
maybe
it's like a reversal of fortune. I don't know.
But that's the whole point of Simpsons. There's no reversal of fortune coming. It's just all the same. That's what keeps them going. There's nothing coming.
I don't know. I just kind of saw the iconography.
That's like the whole Simpsons thing. There's no hope. There's no marriage coming at the end. You know, there's no $7 million at the end of the tunnel.
All right, buddy. All right.
It's an eternal
Is your life
struggle.
you're fucking pushing this rock down?
It's an eternal struggle.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so like after we get all this, obviously, Buster, all the women are gone. The rocks chase them all off, so he's off to his girl's house. He literally breaks down the gates and falls directly into her house. Like, doesn't get we get the whole switcheroo of like they don't think that they made it in time because like his watch stopped working, but they actually did make it in time. But it's like this sentimental moment of like, oh, you don't think he's actually made the girl, or like he's gonna get the girl because like he's like, without this money, I don't want us to be together. Like,
I
can't actually. No,
Also, his jacket getting caught on the fence too is like.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah. No, yeah, he literally drags the fence with him into the house almost, but breaking down the barriers. No, but we get the moment. I like the shot of Buster like kind of like all sad laying against the door, and they realize he looks at the clock tower. Obviously, it's not 7:00 yet, so he runs back in, tells him to go look at the church clock tower, and then like they come back in. Obviously, we get one last quick joke of everyone kissing the bride except for Buster, which is fun. Including the dog, because the dog comes back. The dog's back, the big Dalmatian. But yeah, that ends with the girl getting licked by her Dalmatian after Buster takes her away. And that's the end of Seven Chances. An interesting movie, not my favorite, like I've been saying, but I still do like it. Still a charming Buster Keaton movie. Yeah. Any last thoughts before we go to break?
No.
All right. Well, then we'll be back with Go West.
Tired of the city of smokestack and steel. I'm tired of the grind of the factory wheel. I'm spreading my wings and I'm ready to fly to the land of a wide open sky. I'm bound for Texas, bound for Texas, bound for Texas land, to hear the moo and rattle of snakes and cattle. I'm bound for Texas land.
And we are back from the break with Go West, another Keaton's 1925 features. And honestly, Go West is one of my favorite Keaton movies. It really is. I'll just get my opinions out of the way before I throw it to you guys. But I just love that Keaton decided... Like, Keaton's always loved animals. Like, he's definitely more of an animals over humans type of guy. And he said that himself in his autobiography and shit. So the fact that he just decided to make a movie where he replaced the love interest with a cow... It's just top tier for me. I love it so much. And Brown Eyes is a fucking amazing actress. Like, she is... her sense for the camera and just everything she's able... I don't know. But I don't know if it's Buster, like, just how he films her, or if it's, like, her actually, obviously, just, like... Because we have talked about before, like, animals have maybe more of a sense than we think about for the camera. They're great on the camera, at the very least. But I just love Brown Eyes so much. I think it's the best Buster Keaton leading lady. So and I also just kind of like how laid back Go West is. Like, it's very much it is kind of a Western. Like, it's a comedy Western, but it's in that vein of just kind of like laid back and just kind of like hang out type of comedy. And I kind of just like that a lot. But what did you guys think about it? Because you guys have never seen this before, so Luke?
Yeah, I really liked it. Like, obviously, like as you said, like Buster Keaton with animals is really good, especially like Keaton's just very good with animals, especially just like almost like treating it as another like character instead of just like an animal. Like, it's almost like a developed kind of character, as I was saying.
Yeah.
But I also one of the things I like took notice in this movie is like I wonder if Hawks really liked this movie, because like. Hawks, like, when I'm thinking of directors who, like, use animals, like, sort of similar to this, like, Hawks is, like, he's up there, honestly. And, like, there's honestly, like, the sequence at the end, too, with, like, the cows, like, going into the town. Honestly, you could make a comparison between that and Atari.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was going to mention during the last... That's what I was thinking of. But I was gonna say this one is probably better.
It is better.
I can't agree with that.
I mean, there's more. First of all,
but there's
they do way more damage.
Many elephants, and then they're using that to track them down.
It's tough for me to argue the elephant part. But...
Baby elephant walk.
Okay, the baby elephant walk song is actually a different scene.
Yeah, that scene's top.
And honestly, that one is probably that's a great.
It's
song.
like one of the best scenes of all time. But no, like just, yeah,
just this kind of
the way
honestly, the playfulness of this movie.
He almost treats like animals as like serious actors in their own rights, but also has fun with them too.
And honestly, the playfulness reminds me of Atari a little bit, like you were saying. Like Blake said, it was a little more lighter movie.
Which I mean, that's not even like people obviously bring that up when you think of Hawks and animals, but like Hawks was incredible with animals, like in Monkey Business and what was I'm thinking of. I can't think of titles right now.
You can't toss a tusk because we don't know.
Bring up baby. There's some other ones too. Like he's done with multiple movies. He's amazing with them.
mean, to kind of go off, because Blake said, I might slightly disagree. Blake said animals have a sense of the camera, and to me, it's not. I don't know if the animals have a sense of the camera. Just they have a sense of being themselves always.
No, yeah.
And so this is why, like, we've talked about this constantly, especially with me with Brisson, like, why he preferred non-actors or even animals in Balthazar and stuff is he wanted someone who's not acting, to be themselves. So animals are always themselves in a way, even more than, like, if a human comes in front of the camera, you can tell most people become different. They become more fake, right? Versus, like... That's why it feels like they have a sense of the camera, because if they're trying to act real, they don't have to act, right?
Yeah,
like animals always real. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But maybe like there are certain like animals can tell when environments change. So when there's like a big camera in front of them, I don't know, like maybe they have they know something's going on. Animals, but it's just like I don't know if they don't have a sense of a camera the same way a human does. But that's what makes it better, right? If you're trying to go for more realistic acting. Plus, her eyes are amazing. Like it fits that her names are brown eyes because it makes you think of that. So then when you do see your face for the first time, it's like amazing.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah. The other Hawks movie, by the way, that I was trying to think of was Man's Favorite Sport, which has a scene of a bear riding a motorcycle.
Damn, you suck. That's the movie we do with Brother Bear too?
Stop.
Y'all gonna hate though. I can't lie.
We're not doing Brother Bear 2. It's open season 2.
Come on, open season 2, dog. Come on now.
We're not doing Brother Bear 2.
Is that a movie?
We're doing both of them. We're doing
stuff.
But I wanted to mention also, especially this ending where you could say, and I don't think this is Keaton's intention because he is going for like it's like a nice happy ending. But you could almost say this is kind of just. I mean, this is all of us too. This is just America in general. The way we're able to kind of like. I can't think of the word, but like disassociate. Like if we have an animal that we have named as our own, we like love it, But then like we just ignore everything. They're still gonna die, and that's still gonna happen. But it's like we ignore it. We have this one cow that we're happy with, and then we ignore the rest, right? But like the whole theme of the movie, you could say, is like killing any of them is wrong. Like that's really if you took it to the whole point. But like we all live in this fucking terrible moral gray area. I guess I don't know, just like hypocrites, I guess. But like that's kind of what I was also thinking about this end because like that shot when he's like looking for her through all the it's such a sad shot. It's amazing, but I'm like, but if you take it to the logical conclusion, like that means all the rest of those cows are like,
oh, they're dead.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? But it's like that's kind of like what we do as Americans, and like just in the world in general.
It's true. I mean, we have livestock. I mean, that's literally what it's called.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm not even saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that's what we do. Like, if we have an animal like in our own house, we're not going to obviously kill it or eat it or anything. But it's
I think Keaton. So like, I don't think Keaton would say that. Like, would have that reading of the movie.
No,
just
but I'm saying that it's there. Like to me, I felt that, especially like the drive away. It's like you can almost like feel that. Like
it's there, but there's a melding of human world and animal world in this, and both Brown Eyes and Keaton are like a mixture of the two. Like they're not fully in either world.
But see that you're making the argument of a human would make for like this is my pet though. It's different than livestock,
But the way he films Brown Eyes exactly like himself,
especially when she's like in the car at the end and stuff.
So
it just but my point even stands because like think about who he's friends with at the end. It's the guy who's about to kill. It's like literally the murderer, who's about to murder Brown Eyes. Okay, exactly. So, but still, like that thought came in my head. It honestly makes the movie kind of more interesting when I just like.
It's definitely interesting.
No, it's still a great movie. Other than that, like you said, it's kind of a lighter, just fun movie. Honestly, it kind of feels like you brought up Hatari, just that kind of playfulness the movie has throughout. I don't know. Like I said, it will be better as we get into the specifics.
Yeah, and it's definitely like sentimental Keaton. Like Keaton doesn't go too heavily sentimental most of the time. Like he has sentimental moments, like everyone, obviously, but like you could definitely envision Chaplin doing a movie like this, which is not something you would usually say for a Keaton movie. So, just because of how his character kind of is, but sorry, my glasses kind of fell apart. They've been like this for a while. No, but we can go ahead and get into the actual movie now. So, Go West opens with the classic, obviously, line of "Go West, young men, go west" by Horace Greeley, I think, or Greenlee. I can't remember, but
I guess I've heard that line. Like I've heard that. I know that idea.
Yeah, the statue too. But
okay.
I mean, yeah, it's just one of the American ideals from back in the day, like coast to coast and all. No, but it opens with the title card as some people travel through life making friends wherever they go, while others just travel through life. And then it's obviously another one. In a little town, Indiana, the social standing of a certain young man had kept him continuously on the move. And then we're just introduced to Buster as he's selling all of his household items for $1.65. And it's like really sad. Like, so this is like more of the like kind of sentimental stuff because Buster's setting up this character like you're feeling for him. Like you're like, oh, the world's like really kicking this guy down because he's like selling all of his household items, and then whenever he starts packing up some of the little things from his items, the guy makes him pay for those because he just sold it to him. Oh, it's just like, oh man.
Yeah, it's like a picture of his mom and stuff. He's like,
thinking of buy it. Oh god. And so the $1.65 that he sold everything for, he ends up leaving with literally nothing because he bought all those items back from the guy. And then he bought some provisions, and then he had 5 cents left, which a girl took as a donation for some like some program or some shit. It's just it's a really funny opening, honestly, and it's like so he leaves with nothing, and he's not accepted by either like man or beast at the very beginning of this movie because like he wasn't like obviously the man kind of just like man pay for everything, and then like he sits down like pets the dog outside, and the dog just runs off like leaving him all alone, but it's just kind of sad. But then Buster gets on a train, going kind of like the furthest east possible, at least in frame, because he like goes all the way to the east of the train and gets in the very last car, and then he goes to New York.
Well, he's on a box throne too.
Yeah, he is on a box throne. I love the shot of him on a box throne with like his little like basically scepter, but it's just a hot dog he bought, like just a sausage he bought. And then we get our first little passage of time shot with him just like sitting there, and then like it dissolves to like his sausages and bread's like half gone, and then he gets off the train into New York, and this is where it's like starting, obviously, where Buster, he always does this where his characters will start off at the very beginning like doing things wrong and stuff like that, only to like do things right at the very end, like we've been saying throughout this entire series. But this one is easily, you could say, the same, because whenever he arrives in New York, he gets off in the street, like him just trying to like walk and live in New York is a complete failure. And like it's very much like the herd of people that he's walking through is literally like the stampede later on with the cows. So it's just like he's definitely making a correlation later that herding that much people into one city like that is literally just like herding cattle, because like he could. I love the scene of him in New York.
There's a similar idea with Chaplin had too, I think.
The opening of Modern Times.
Yeah,
the cattle, and then I think the people.
Or the sheep, also the in the immigrant when they're rolling up on New York City, and then like they're like herding. It's like arriving in the land of Liberty.
They herd them in.
They're like herding them in.
Damn. Yeah, no, it's just an interesting opening moment for this, but he obviously doesn't fit in here because he gets a. Basically, he just gets kind of depressed. He goes and sits down on a little box, and then he just has this epiphany of like, I need to like leave and go west, and it's kind of like superimposed with the statue behind him, just like pointing to the left, and then like his character literally walks to the left onto the train, and it's I think he's going like Santa Fe this time, but obviously whenever he gets into the train car, everything starts to go like crazy because he's in the train car. We get another like time dissolve basically of his provision shrinking to a literal like basically nothing, and then he's just on this box of, or just a bunch of barrels essentially, And the stunt, or it's definitely a stunt. I feel like it's definitely just comedy too. But him just falling down to the very bottom of this like pile of barrels and then having to get back out just to climb into one and then get thrown off the train is great. So.
Well, he's like trying. He like tries to sit on one to like look out the view,
yes,
and then it just like one like by like adjusting it, like one rolled and hit it, and then like basically he's like hanging out of the car now. And so.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But he does eventually obviously get into a barrel and then he rolls out of the car, and then he rolls out and basically into the town that we're going to be at eventually. But after he rolls out of the train, has like some funny moments of him being scared of like all this nature that he's around in the desert. We're introduced to Brown Eyes in a very similar way to how we'd be introduced to a Buster Keaton character. Of basically, she doesn't fit in with anything. Yeah. Like she doesn't do her task properly. Like whenever they milk her, she's not up to the task. Like no milk comes out. And then whenever they go and put her back in the pen, like they're all like the men are all disappointed and go put her back in the pen, she's basically ostracized from the cows too because none of them like allow her in with them. So she's in this like kind of like gray area of life too, like Buster is, of just like no one wants them essentially. And so that was our intro to her. And then we just kind of get Buster entering in on the scene right after that on this ranch. And asking for a job after he imitates a cowboy because he's just... Him imitating a cowboy is really funny because he's just kind of like walking like with their bow-legged walk and then just kind of like falls over, but he's not very good at it. But he's asking the ranch owner for a job. And the guy originally says no. And then he's like, looks at the bucket in his hand and he's like, oh wait, here, come back. Here you go, you have a job. And basically just makes him do his job and go milk the cows. We are introduced really quickly to... In a normal Buster movie, this would be the love interest, but this is not a normal Buster movie, so she's not. It's kind of like it's teased.
It's a fake out. Yeah.
It's a fake out. She's teased. Like she definitely is teased as a love interest this entire movie, but that's just for the gag at the very end. So, but I mean, she's giving him winks and everything. You know, I do kind of like it because he's like, I work here, and she's like, I don't see you working or something. I don't know, but so he's basically tasked with milking a cow. And him milking the cow is kind of just hilarious because he sits down on a stool, puts the bucket like under her udder, and then just like looks at her.
I mean, I can't like laugh at it too much because I would do the same thing. Like I wouldn't really know what to do.
Really?
I don't want to touch it. Like,
but you know how.
You know how.
Yeah. He just expected. He didn't know how. That's what the joke was.
Yeah, maybe I'll be like, I hope it like does it without me touching somehow. Like,
can you pee?
like.
That's not how it works. No, but it is. It's a quick scene, but it's just kind of funny because it's just more of Buster just like looking at animals and just being like kind of flabbergasted. But after he kind of fails at this, the girl comes over because the dad is telling him like the dad tells the girl like get that new ranch hand and have them go help the cowboys out there herd the cattle. Which is going to go fantastic, we already know. But she comes over, tells him about that, and then she kind of is like judging his work a little bit whenever he leaves, which is kind of funny. But Buster tries to get a horse, is terrified of all of the horses, and so he goes out like a little bit further out, and there's like this really big mule. Like it's a donkey, but it's just like a really big donkey. And so he just saddles that donkey up really poorly and decides to start riding off. And so like the saddle is set up on the back half of the actual horse, not in the middle. And so like whenever he's riding, he literally just like the saddle and everything just falls off. And he's just like left there kind of just a failure at it, but and just kind of looking off. But obviously after he kind of like falls off, he's in the middle of all the cows. And so he's just walking around kind of like going like, I don't really know what I'm doing here. Like, I'm kind of scared of all these steers just looking at me. Like, all these cows with giant antlers looking at me. And so he's just, like, running around and stuff like that. He ends up, like, running into, like, this tree for, like, cover. And then it's our introduction to, like, true love, basically. Because Brown Eyes walks up. She kind of does this little, like, stuff with, like... She's doing stuff with her foot because, obviously, there's, like, a rock in there. But it kind of looks like she's dancing for the camera, which is kind of fun. But her on her first arrival. But Buster sees that she has something stuck in her hoof, and so it's like it's the classic lion story that we talked about in 3 Ages, where he helps her out with something stuck in her foot.
Honestly, damn.
So, and now she loves him forever.
Thing, yeah. Because he does the same thing too. Because he tips his hat to her after.
Yes, he does. Well, I love because he tips his hat to her like after. Oh, it's so good. It's so cute, dude.
Because I remember the tipped hat, but I forgot it was like the same line thing.
That line is so funny.
Honestly, what if Brown Eyes is a costume?
No, they should have like a fake ass Brown Eyes. Like that'd be so funny. That line is so funny.
Well, there is a fake cow in this, most likely.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
the
like
POV
mechanical.
Yeah.
Or
just
like
even
a cow head or something.
Yeah,
even
just
that's
a
still
cow head.
impressive though, because like
No, it's cool to watch.
Oh yeah.
well, also in the shot of that, like they literally got they have another shot of the mule, like Brown Eyes basically like chasing away the mule, kind of like.
Oh, okay, kind of.
And that's like impressive too.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this encounter just continues where Buster, like after he tips the hat, just starts walking away, and Brown Eyes just kind of following him. But he gets stuck in this little hole. I think it's like a gopher hole or something. I don't know. He just walks into a hole, and his like spur is stuck in there, so he can't get his foot out. And whenever he's bending over trying to see how to fix it, a steer is like looking at his butt, going like, "Oh yeah, that's a good ass target right there." And so he's like, I love it because Buster I think he looks under his legs again, because he does this a couple times in his movies where he looks in between his legs and sees like an animal behind
Well, that was
him.
in the last movie. We kind of went over it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
because
he
like,
looks and
it's
a
like
nice,
it's
it's
an
a nice
interesting POV
angle.
shot because
Yeah.
it's the cow upside down.
Yes.
Because like it's from perspective. I forgot
Okay, I couldn't remember if that was this one or that was,
yeah, that was the
Seven
last one.
Chances, but
Yeah.
this one does sound. It does have him looking between his legs again, but we don't get his point of view, I don't think. But yeah, the cow charges obviously, and Brown Eyes protects him.
Mhm.
True love.
Yes.
No, but after she
they're even
protects
now,
him,
too.
they're even now. After she protects him, he tips his hat again, and then like
I love
he kind
that.
of just starts walking away, and she just is literally following right on his heels. And so he just like kind of like puts his hand out to her, and she licks it. It's like a very genuine show of emotion in this movie, where it's like whenever she licks his hand, he's just like so shocked by it, like he's just like doesn't really know what to do, and so he just starts petting her, and it's like really sweet. It's really sweet, but after the setup to the actual love story of the movie, we get the dinner bell ringing, obviously. And so we get the first of 3 gags, basically, of Buster. At least two gags of him missing dinner, and the third one is him, like, eating before everyone else and then, like, leaving. But, yeah, he does miss dinner this time, and so he's, like, going without, and we know that he doesn't have any food anyway because we've seen all of his food disappear as he's traveled on the train this entire time. But he basically goes to the bunkhouse with everyone else, gets thrown out of there because Brown Eyes is following him into the bunkhouse.
I love this scene too.
It's so good.
This guy like waking up, he's like surprised at Brown.
He's like, "What the hell is a
And I
cow
haven't.
doing here?"
Luke has seen this shot, but this shot like it's honestly the closest like shot we get of Brown Eyes. She's like on the right half of the screen. And she's
Okay,
like,
yeah,
almost
yeah.
looking at the camera.
Damn, yeah.
It's so funny.
Have it up
So
right
good.
now.
It's so good, dude. But yeah, they basically just tell Buster like, go in the barn and sleep with her if you want her here. And so he does. He goes to the barn. It's like really sweet, honestly, because he like drapes the blanket over her and everything, and they're getting down like settled at night, and coyotes start howling. And so Buster decides to kind of stay up all night, or we assume try and stay up all night. But he has a rifle and tries to stay up all night, but it doesn't succeed because we kind of dissolve to the next morning, and we have our night of rest that's kind of classic in a Buster movie. And he wakes up to the coyotes just like there drinking out of her water bowl.
Yeah.
They're harmless. They're just there though. It's just so
that's
funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the scene cuts after that, obviously, to another shot of the dinner bell ringing.
Yeah, so he's like,
And Buster misses it again. He misses it again, obviously. This breakfast must have gone real fast because it doesn't really feel like he did anything to miss it. He just like had to walk from the bunkhouse or from like the barn there.
They're
But
just trolling him.
he did.
Danny's
They're just
worst
trolling
nightmare
him.
right here.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, like after he misses breakfast, he's sent off to do more like menial, less manly tasks, you would say, because he gets sent off to collect eggs from chickens as his new job because he can't do anything else correctly apparently. But on the way to like collecting eggs for the chickens, he lets out a couple steers, and this is our first instance of Buster like performing tasks a lot better because he lets the steers out whenever he leaves the gate open. The 2 other cowboys there tell him like, "Hey, you gotta get the steers back in there. You let them out." So, And he doesn't know how to at first, so they're like, "Hey, wave something red in front of him." And then he's like, "Oh, okay." So he just takes off his bandana, starts waving it at them. The other two cowboys are just kind of laughing because they're like, "Oh, this guy's gonna like die." but he just like nonchalantly just kind of like walks, lets the first one in, and then we get the first POV shot or the second POV shot of the bull basically as the bull's charging at him. He just like walks slowly, opens the gate, and then closes it behind him and locks it. So to the shock of the other cowboys, by the way, but. But yeah, after that, he actually is like back to his task of just collecting eggs from chickens. And as he's doing that, we are notified essentially that's branding day for the cows because they brand one of the calves. It's honestly like it's stuff that we don't think about. More kind of like what you were talking about, Danny, of like we don't think about where our food comes from essentially. But this whole process of them like literally branding cows with their brand, it looks extremely painful. Like the way they do it to that like calf at the very beginning, you're like, oh damn, dude, like that kind of sucks, honestly. But Buster hears Brown Eye's moves of distress, and so he goes to rescue her, and then we just get him rescuing her from the branding by essentially being invisible to all the cowboys around him because he just like walks and takes it. It's like it's a mixture of like they just don't respect him enough to notice him, kind of. Yeah. But it also helps him because it helps him with like help his friend out, his real friend, which is the cow. But he kind of leads her off, and like there's a quick joke of him trying to hide her behind bushes, which is really funny because the cow just walks off, obviously, and then it's just like he's hiding the cowboy that walks up behind it, but. The cowboy tells him to like brand that cow, and so he kind of does. He does, but he does it by shaving her and then like coloring it in with eyeliner and shit. But after this little like quick scene of the branding, we have the dinner bell again, and he doesn't miss his chance this time. He sprints back to the dinner, literally scarfs all of his food down, and as everyone else is sitting down, he just grabs his hat, puts it on, and walks out. It's just a really nice little joke. But whenever he walks out, he does see Brown Eyes is essentially getting bullied by the other steers because she doesn't have horns. And so he walks back in and grabs the deer antlers that are just in the mess hall, ties it onto her head, and like basically says like you're good now, they won't pick on you, and like sends her back out there.
It looks good on her.
It does look good on her. It does.
No, there's this great shot of like she's like in the foreground wearing it, and then he just like has his hands on his face in the background.
Might have to use that one. There are a lot of good
There's
shots
a few. I'll show you.
Too.
I have some options.
I mean, the obvious option is whenever they're driving by, like we're about to get to it, whenever they're driving by, and then like the love interest just sees Brown Eyes first, and then Keaton's there in the frame too. But we'll continue on with the movie because we're almost there. Because like after this little instance with like Brown Eyes and the other steers, we get like more of Buster teasing an actual romance between him and the girl, because it's like the girl yells for either Buster or the other ranch hand. She's just yelling in their general direction like, hey, I need some help, one of you come over here. Or she's yelling at one of them. She doesn't say who. So like both of them start walking over, but she wants Buster's help, so she chooses him and he helps her. It's kind of like it's another easy parallel you can kind of make between like the lion paw, like helping the lion lift something in its paw because he literally uses a knife to get like a splinter out of the daughter's hand, and it's also a clear parallel to like Brown Eyes. But it's also just kind of like weird that he paralleled a woman to a cow, but at the same time.
Well, to me, it's just he's probably just setting up that joke again.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. It's definitely a setup.
The setup, like this is. Yeah, you think this is gonna end like that? Basically.
But it's more like he's just like the cow and her are the same person in this movie, so it's kind of funny, but. So after we get that little tease, it's more of just like Buster walks up with Brown Eyes and starts talking to the ranch owner, kind of, or he's just standing next to him, and then like the ranch owner's what you assume rival comes and basically tells the ranch owner, because we heard the ranch owner say earlier in the movie like we're selling 1,000 cattle on Thursday, and then we haven't really heard anything else about it until now. when the rival comes and says like, hey, I heard you were like selling your cows on Thursday. I thought we were holding out for higher prices, essentially. Like that's what the other guy's plans are, at least. Is like he's like, I'm holding out for higher prices. Like I thought we basically had an agreement to do the same thing. And he's like, no, that's like this is my cattle. I'll do with them with how I see fit. And so at least like this little tense moment, obviously, of them like touching their guns, and like Buster has like this really, Buster's gun in this has not come up a lot, but it's just like this little fucking pea shooter that he found in a purse earlier in the movie whenever he like found a purse in New York. So it's literally just like a woman's gun essentially. That he has in this giant holster at his side that he's like making jokes with as this is happening. But after all this, Buster is informed of what's happening with the cows essentially, because like he's like, what's going to happen to these cows that you're selling? And he's like, oh, they're off to the slaughterhouse. And Buster is not happy with the news that Brown Eyes is about to be taken, and so he goes and kind of like rescues her again, except this time as he's rescuing her, he's kind of acting all cool and shit because he does like pull his gun out on the ranch hand that's like trying to take her. But as he's like doing that, we have like another ranch hand just like slowly walking behind him, just take her and lead her off. And he's just like he's
definitely like making fun of like the Western hero.
Oh, 100%.
He likes to tap stereotypes.
100%, because it happens again like kind of with this next scene where it's like, after Brown Eyes gets taken, Keaton's kind of defeated, obviously. Like, there's no way for him to get her back because he's kind of... I think this is the shot that you were talking about where he's, like, looking for her and the things. Yeah. And as the ranch owner's paying him, like, the money, like, he pays him and tells him, like, get out of here, essentially. Like, your job's done. And Keaton... It's really sad because Keaton's like, here, just take my payback. I want the cow. Yeah. Like, you don't have to pay me. Just give me the cow. And the guy's like, oh, she'll fetch double the price of that. So, no. And so Keaton kind of just walks away all dejected. And his big idea is to play cards with some other ranch hands to double his money. Great. Terrible idea. Well, okay. Terrible idea, but leads to an amazing situation. But it's kind of like intercut as well with like the daughter of the ranch hand kind of overhearing all this, and you can definitely tell that she likes Buster Keaton, like Buster at this point, because she's kind of just trying to find a way to help him. Like the rest of this movie, she will be trying to find a way to help him with the cow. Yeah. But the scene of Buster playing poker is one of my favorite scenes in Buster movies, honestly, because I honestly thought this was from The High Sign. I think I said that earlier in the podcast, actually. It's not. It's actually in Go West. I don't, apparently. But Buster's playing poker with these other ranch hands, like I said before, to try to double his money. And it leads to the dealer cheating by like slipping himself an ace from under the deck. Buster sees it and basically like calls him out for cheating. And the guy pulls his gun on him and tells Buster, like, if you say that, you gotta smile. And then he tells Buster, obviously, to smile. And we had the classic, like, Buster just, like, doing it with, like, his forefinger and middle finger, like, pushing his lips up to, like, a smile before it just falls back down. But it's honestly, I love this entire scene because we get that moment, but then we also get Buster just, like, being really, like, smart. Because he just, like, slowly puts his pinky in behind the gun, or behind the trigger, so that whenever the guy pulls, he can't actually fire. And then he like gets his little pistol and like points it at him. And
honestly, sorry, I just want to say the idea of Keaton only like smiling in his movie when he has a gun pointed at him and he has to like force himself.
It's so good, dude.
That just adds like another layer to it.
Yeah. Apparently, this like he was also satirizing Broken Blossoms in this scene.
I haven't seen.
I
do want to watch. I think that's on my priority watch list though.
So. I haven't seen Broken Blossoms yet, but apparently there's a scene of...
That's separate?
It's private.
So your real watch list?
It's like a shortened version of like the director's, I don't know, like part of the movie.
So your real watch list?
It makes it easier to...
No, yeah, like... Yeah, the actual Letterboxd watch list is so useless.
Like, yeah.
I don't even remember adding most of these.
Yeah, like...
and a lot of it, watch list is like mood-based, because you're like, oh shit, like... I'm watching this, so maybe I'll watch these other. But then when you come back later, you're like,
why did I add this?
Like, yeah,
dude, half the movies I have on my watch list, I'm like, what are these movies? I don't even remember what they are.
So which scene did you say he was parodying?
No, so like, apparently is Mary Pickford the main actress in Broken Blossoms? I can't remember who the main actress is, but apparently the main actress in that is forced to smile by her abusive, drunken father, and she does it in the same way. Like, she puts her fingers to her mouth.
Lillian Gish.
Lillian Gish, okay. I think she puts her fingers to her lips and, like, forces up to a smile like that. But she's, like, crying and shit and all that. So it's, like,
no, a lot of people
Buster's spoofing that, but...
A lot of people love that movie. It looks good, too.
But, yeah. It does look good. But, yeah, so, like, I kind of love the end of this scene also because it's just, like... Buster thinks he won the hand. So, like, he's not going to shoot the guy, obviously. He just wants the hand to play out the way it's, like, it's supposed to. The way, like, chance allows, essentially. And so, like, they throw down the real cards. Buster thinks he won, so he starts taking all the money. And then the third ranch hand that's just here witnessing all this is, like, slowly lays down his cards and, like, actually, I won. Then he takes all the money and walks away. It's just an amazing end to this whole thing. But... at the very end of this, the guy that pulled the gun on him actually gives Buster a real gun because you can feel like he essentially proved himself to him by stopping him, and so he gives him an actual gun, which Buster will use later on in the movie, obviously. But after this, he hops in the train with Brown Eyes to try and save her, and this is when we get like one of the best shots in the movie of like the love interest is kind of just like looking around for Buster to give him money to buy the cow. Yeah. And then she sees the train leave and she sees like the train car go by as she sees Brown Eyes and then Buster right next to her. Yeah. And it's just a great shot because Buster's eyes just look just like Brown Eyes in the scene. Honestly, they're amazing.
Yeah.
Just that placid look of a cow.
Yeah.
It's an amazing shot. Probably my favorite in the movie, honestly, but yeah, like, after this little amazing scene, we have the attempted train robbery. This is the rival, obviously, coming back, trying to stop the transaction that this man is trying to do so that he can keep his own cattle prices high. Yeah. But the attempted train robbery, it doesn't go... I mean, it goes all right for them, I guess. Like, they stop it. Yeah. And then send it on its way again for some reason. but Buster is able to get back on. He's able to get like on the train. He like runs after it whenever it gets set off with no one on it. But then we just get like more kind of insane shots of like Buster kind of just climbing on the train first, and then like as the train's moving, we get like as it's like coming into the town and shit, like it's going around corners, and the camera's set up on the train somewhere, but it's just showing Buster walking across the train top, and it's like going around curves, and Buster's just like on the top of this with no support, and I'm just like, dude, like
Mission Impossible ass, like,
no, Unstoppable,
Madman.
That too.
The ending of Unstoppable,
100%.
The Denzel.
No, that's
what I was thinking of.
Mission Impossible definitely has like
probably, but see, Denzel actually was on a train.
Was Tom Cruise not on a train?
I don't know, maybe.
Probably. Yeah, how we down?
You down train or a CGI train?
Okay, we can't diss like Mission Impossible.
No, Mission Impossible.
I don't remember the one you're talking about.
I'm assuming it's a real train.
Pretty sure it has it multiple times.
I know it definitely has Impossible.
Has the new one. It's in the new one for sure. And there's probably another.
Oh, the new one. That train was CGI, especially when they're inside the train, like everything's exploding. Obviously, it's like fake as fuck.
Inside, yeah. Outside, I think it's real though.
Maybe.
Outside,
it's Tom Cruise, dude. You can't doubt him.
He's like 60. Like
he's still like as insane.
I thought you were talking about the first one or something, but.
It probably happens also in like one of those.
Yeah, but yeah, Keaton started it maybe.
Oh,
Keaton's fascination with trains and stunts on them is he's one of the first. That's for sure. But this whole like incident of Keaton being on the train by himself leads to the very end of the movie, like the last section of this movie, which is the stampede through LA. So as the train arrives at the station, Buster lets out Brown Eyes first and then closes the gate on all the other steers before he like recalls back to like the owner and his daughter, like basically saying we're through if we don't sell these cows. And so he decides to open up the gate and let all of the cows out, and he's going to lead them to the slaughterhouse on foot. And so it starts that, and we get some great shots, obviously, of just like him walking through LA with a bunch of cows following him. Shot on location, actually shot on downtown LA. Like this was shot in actual downtown LA, but I do love like just the shots of all the people in this one. Like this is just more of like Buster Keaton the observer. Like he's just like showing all these fucking people be terrified of just these cows because he sets up his camera in like a way to where we don't see the cows come onto frame until like we see multitudes of people running first. So like we know which way they're coming from essentially. But there's a certain moment in this where Buster is like walking with Brown Eyes and he loses the cow, or like all the cows, like he loses them somehow. It's after he like walks by. There's a great gag with like a traffic cop. Like the traffic cop stops everyone, and like all the cows and Buster stop, and he lets them like all go through again. It's kind of a funny gag, but after he loses the cows, we get another like funny gag of Buster parking Brown Eyes in an auto parking lot and paying the attendant and everything before he like actually goes off to like find the cows. And all he has to do to find the cows is follow all the running people. So that's what he does. And then we just get cows in regular everyday society, essentially.
Yeah, crashing on the humans.
Yes, like they're encroaching on human society, and it's fantastic, honestly. Like, I love most of the stuff that happens in this. Like, I would say the two that I wrote down as my favorite were the barbershop and the shoe store. Yeah. Those are probably my two favorites, but because there's a shit ton of gags that happen in those. Like the barbershop one, I love it whenever, first off, one of the barbers sees the cows and is like so shocked that he just like buzzes just a straight line down a guy's head, and the guy understands after he sees what he was looking at. But and then I also love the barbershop one where they're like where the guy's just like laying there waiting for his like shave, and the cows start licking his face. I don't know, that's great. And the shoe one's just kind of fun because the shoe one is just like all the cows are in there. Buster kind of like gets them all out, and then all the people get mad at Buster because he's the one that like let all the cows out, and they figure that out, so they start throwing all this shit at him.
The one cow, the guy that's like carrying a bunch of stuff, and the cow just like hits his head up, and then they all just like fly out of his hands. It's hilarious. There's the guy that's like zip lining above them. Like... The
zip line is just insane. I think Joe Keaton's in one of these. He's the guy that jumps up on the cabinets in the shoe store. But there was one of the barbers. He jumped over a wall. And whenever he landed, like he landed on something behind, it's a cow, and he's like literally riding a cow. I don't know. I like that one. I like that a lot. But there's just a lot going on. This obviously, like it's just literally cows and like a bull in a china shop, literally. But Buster does end up like getting them all like kind of situated in the middle of the street, but he can't lead them anywhere because they don't want to follow him. So he needs to get something red. So he goes into a costume shop and asks the owner, like, hey, do you have anything red, before all the cows walk in and scare everyone else off. He starts looking around. He finds a devil costume, and he puts it on. Yeah. This is cut with, I think this is cut with, like, the love interest and stuff, like, or the human love interest, kind of like her and her father trying to get here and stuff. And it's also cut with, I'm glad I wrote this down, because it is cut with, like, the cops. Because the cops are kind of like being notified of the situation during this moment whenever he's getting dressed. Because one cop runs in first and says, "Sir, there's a thousand bulls running around outside." And then the second one runs in and he's like, "Sir, there's 5,000 bulls running around outside." A third one comes in and he says, "There are 10,000 steers roaming the streets." And then like more and more people come in, and the last one comes in and he's like, "There are 1,000,000 bulls running in the street." It's just like, oh my god. But the cops basically just say like, let's get the fire department on this situation to help us, and they like walk out, or they kind of like run out whenever the cows arrive there. But so after we see this like quick thing with the cops, is back to Buster. He's finished getting into his devil costume. It looks insane. It looks so funny, honestly. Like this devil shit. It's like you haven't seen. What is the movie? It's the Le Vampire.
No, I was literally just thinking of the...
Because it's the same costumes they wear in that.
Well, I've seen Irma Vep.
Okay.
Which is like...
Do they use the same costumes?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And I've seen clips from Les Vampires, so like... But also, you could say like this kind of looks like something you've seen like a Georges Méliès, like...
Yes. No, for sure.
Type of movie, like the costumes and that.
Just this ridiculous devil costume, basically. Yeah. But I will say, this devil costume, he does try to put on his pork pie cap one last time. Like, tries to fit it on over the years, it won't come on. Yeah. That's going to be the last time you see it, except for one shot in Steamboat Bill Jr., so... Because he doesn't have it in the general or in Battling Butler or college, so... Right. I don't think he has in Battling Butler. It's been a long time since I've seen that one, but... The cameraman, he doesn't have that one. He has that other... The, like, backwards cap, you know?
Yeah.
The pork pie hat never.
Yeah.
That the last time that comes back, or the next time that comes back, I'm pretty sure is in film, like that short film, because he didn't use it after Steamboat Bill Jr. And he didn't even use it in Steamboat Bill Jr. It's only in there for a shot, which we'll get to next week, obviously. But yeah, so like Buster has this devil costume on, and he's going outside, and he does obviously get all the steer to follow him now. And so like some backstory on this like stampede, the actual stampede. It's, I don't know, did you guys think it was like, it felt weird? Or did you think it felt good? Like the chase, yeah.
What?
No, I really liked it.
Okay, good. No, so that's what Keaton was hoping for, and I think it works, but Keaton said it was like very, very hard to make that moment like tense on screen because the steers weren't actually chasing him. Like he was trying to like do this by cutting, like just like he was like just editing it to try to like make it seem like they were actually chasing him. He was actually in danger, but he was not. He was not in danger at all in this scene. So it's more just like they were just slowly.
You don't really. I don't know if you really need to be tense though. All you need is just animals running around. That's all you need.
It's true
on a movie. Like
all you need is animals like running into cops. And we're golden.
Running into a civilization, basically.
I mean, this last part, whenever the cows are running after Buster, and he runs into the cops before the cows, obviously, the cops all try to stop him before all the cows start like come around the corner and they all start running is amazing. Like whenever they're all running, Buster is obviously faster than all the fat cops, obviously. So he's like running by all of them. One of them grabs onto his tail. And then we just have like a human train kind of forming because like all the cops are just holding on to the cop in front of them, and Buster's like basically dragging all these cops along with him as he's running. It's hilarious. I love it so much. But he obviously he loses the cops eventually because he sees, because he's in the lead obviously, he sees the fire department kind of lined up with a bunch of hoses up there, and so he kind of just grabs onto a street pole and like stops. And then the cops all keep on running directly into the fire department who hosed them all down. And he just continues running on with all the cattle, obviously. And that's kind of the last part. As he continues running, he does run past Brown Eyes. She breaks free of her rope and like she starts running along beside him, and he just like hops onto her, mounts her, and starts riding her. And then he leads all of the cows to the stockyard, leads them in. As the daughter and the owner are obviously watching behind him and shit like that, watching his acts of bravery and shit. But
honestly, it helps my point that it's literally a guy in a devil costume putting the slaughters to their death, leading the cows to their death.
It does actually. It does. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Keaton had that thought in his mind either.
Because this also fits with, like, you could even say, like, the cows, like, getting revenge on the city, you know, because they're the ones killing them, you know. Yeah. But then it's the devil that leads them back to their death.
Damn. Well, I don't remember if you, like, were you listening to that video that Sean played whenever we were here? Whenever he was here? The one with the pig? Damn, okay, never mind. I won't bring it up. It's fine. We'll
okay, yeah,
there, but it's a very similar situation of basically like humans are the devils leading animals.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, at least it fits up. I don't even know if Keaton was trying. Like, it's just. I mean, it fits.
That's what I'm saying about Keaton. Though is like he doesn't go for any of these themes technically, but they're there if you want to like look at them. Like it's. His only problem or his only thought process in making a movie is to make you laugh, is what he says. But all these themes that you can get from watching his movies, like he had to have been thinking of like other stuff. Honestly, he had to have had other things on his mind whenever he was like actually making, because formally, he's just very interesting with some of the shit. But yeah, obviously everything's all good now at the very end of the movie. All the steer are there, so the dad just like. Literally kind of, he's so excited to see Buster. He's like, he tells him, my home and anything I have is yours for the asking. And then Buster says, I want her. And he points. He points to the girl. And then it kind of just like, it plays it out because like he points to the girl. Obviously it cuts back to just a wide shot. And then it just has Buster walking directly past the girl and then bringing Brown Eyes out to like right in front of her, to the complete bewilderment of like of the dad and the girl. Like they were both shocked that he chose the cow, but he chose her. So hey, true love, man.
True love.
He lets they lead her into the back seat, and it's just like even more so.
I thought
Forcing the
I didn't
love.
really think the girl was surprised though.
I think she was surprised because he did point at her, but
Well, I thought she might have been in on it, but I don't know. Cause she was.
I never saw. I'm not sure.
It is kind of. It's hard to tell though, because it is
It's like a wide
it's a
shot.
wide
Yeah.
shot.
And then they just get in the car.
I do love that the cow is sitting with Buster in the back though. It's just so funny. It just plays into the fact that they're the loves of this movie. But that is the end of Go West, one of my favorite Buster movies. It's a great movie all around, honestly. But that'll end our episode this week as well. And next week, it's our last week of Buster Keaton, guys. Sad day. But we are doing 2 of his most well-known and prominent movies, The General and Steamboat Bill Jr. One of my favorite movies of all time, and one that I hope to like more, maybe. We'll see.
I know Orson Welles loves The General.
Everyone loves The General, man. See, if we had a Twitter post or whatever of what movie does everyone love that you don't understand, The General would probably be on there for me. Although I understand it a little bit.
It's Buster Keaton on a train.
Yeah. We'll get to it though, obviously. I just don't understand how you can say The General's better than Steamboat Bill Jr. either. I don't know, or Sherlock Jr. or 1 week. I don't know, but hey, we'll get to it next week. Until next time, we hope to see you guys floating through clouds.
Old buttermilk sky, I'm a-keeping my eye peeled on you. What's a good word tonight? Are you gonna be mellow tonight? Oh, buttermilk sky, can't you see my little donkey and me? We're as happy as a Christmas tree, heading for the one I love. I'm gonna pop her that question. Do you, darling, do you do? It'll be easy, so easy, if I can only bank on you, oh, buttermilk sky. I'm a-telling you why, now you know. Keep it in mind tonight. Keep a-brushing those clouds from sight. Oh, buttermilk sky, don't you feel me when I'm needing you most? Hang a moon above her hitching post. Hitch me to the one I love. I'm gonna pop her that question. Do you, darling, do you do? It'll be easy, so easy, if I can only bank on you, oh, buttermilk sky. I'm a-telling you why, now you know. Keep it in mind tonight. Keep a-brushing those clouds from sight. Oh, buttermilk sky, don't you feel me when I'm needing you most? Hang a moon above her hitching post. Hitch me to the one I love. You can if you try. Don't tell me no lie. Will you be mellow and bright tonight? Oh, buttermilk sky.